What's going on, guys? Welcome to Volume 2 of Episode 3. It's all about video games. If you haven't seen Part 1, make sure you go back so you can enjoy the whole episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I can't. But I can't. I also can't watch both of that.
Yeah, no, I think another one for me that was kind of a challenge to me as a kid that I think I would consider going back to play. And I actually had the game when they re-released it for the Wii U. What the hell was that game? DuckTales.
Mm.
Yeah, the original NES version. Like I think for me, I just couldn't. I think my hang up for that game was I just could not figure that game out. Like trying to figure out the controls and that, and I'm just like, I can't get this. I can't kill anything. I'm getting killed, and it's just like game over and over and over again. I'm just like, nah, I'm done with this. And then seeing videos on it later on, it's like, oh, okay, like how many decades later, and I was like, okay, this is that makes sense.
Really? That
Yeah,
was
right.
it? That was easy.
How fucking mind blowing was that?
That was easy.
Yeah, and then yeah, and then seeing it re-released for the Wii U, I went and bought it, but never got around to playing it. There were so many other. I mean, but that's the thing though. The Wii U, despite its shortcomings, had to me no shortage of good games for that system, and so I was playing a lot of those games, and I think one or two of them I did play on stream. I can't remember which ones they were. But I never got around to actually playing that game. And then I wound up just like selling everything not long after the Switch came out. So
Right.
Yeah, Wii U was actually pretty fun to play in. I thought it was a great idea. It's just too bulky, the whole thing. But that controller with the screen, that was pretty cool.
Right. It gets a lot of shit, but I think it was a good system.
I think
Yeah.
it gets a lot of shit mainly because the concept was confusing to some people who thought it was an add-on for the Wii. And so like it wasn't like there was no marketing for it, and then like the initial marketing was like not really confusing really confusing, and because they weren't really showcasing the console at all and saying, "Hey, we have a new, we have a new console. Here's this awesome, here's this system, this awesome new controller." And a lot of people went out and were looking for this thing thinking that it was an add-on for the Wii, and realizing, oh, I'm spending $350. I'm not spending $350 on a controller. And it's like, no, it's not a controller, it's a system. But I've already got the Wii. No, it's a new console. And that's
Right.
where like the confusion lied. And it's just like, so a lot of sales were lost in that respect. And I think it wound up being Nintendo's pretty much worst selling console ever. I think second only to the Virtual Boy,
which a lot of people don't even know exists.
Oh, I used to have one, and I'm kicking myself for selling it.
I never saw any of those.
And it was a pain in the ass when you were playing sitting upright because you had to crane your neck, and extended play was pretty much non-existent because you would wind up hurting your neck. So what I would do was I would lay back on my bed or the couch and just have it basically just on my face, and that was pretty much how I played it. And yeah, and oh yeah, no, it's like I didn't move, like I was a statue just playing it like this, and that's the thing though, like it ate through batteries like nobody's business. The batteries in those things did not last long, and finding battery packs, which they did make, were next to impossible because by the time I had gotten mine, the console had basically hit end of life. Like it fell flat. Nobody was making games for it, and it was an absolute failure. I enjoyed it, but it should have been way more than it was, and it would have been if not for some obviously boneheaded decisions by some of the higher ups at Nintendo. But what can you do? There's actually one There is actually one at a game shop out in Port Orange, um, but they won't sell it. I've been back to that store, I think like 3 times since I first saw it, and he will not. The guy that owns it will not part with it. I'm just like, God damn it, I want that because I need it on my shelf. And like I said, I'm kicking myself for selling the one that I had.
That's messed up.
It is what it is. Clearly, the guy knows what he has.
I remember 2 games now that I actually recently finished and enjoyed. I mean, for some people will be challenging. I'm just too smart for them, you know. Um,
Rubik's Cube.
so I played the newest Spider-Man game on the 2 hardest difficult. So you first have to play it in the hardest setting to unlock the ultimate setting. So I finished that ultimate setting at 100% because I had nothing else to do, and my kids loved watching me play, so they're my
Nice.
viewers.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and then I played Horizon Zero, no, not Zero Dawn. My
Forbidden
God, what's the name
West.
of Forbidden West? Yes. And that I'm not even close to like 60% of finishing, but the main story I did finish.
Hmm.
Um the last boss was not the hardest of the game, but I just unlocked a lot of weapons and whatnot, so it made it easier for me. It is a great game though.
I've heard so many good things about that game. I played the first one. I got it. I finally got it when they released it on PC and I played it there. Awesome game, amazing story, and I honestly cannot wait to, actually buy it and sit down. I'm debating though on whether I should just get it for the PS5 or wait until the PC release.
I think that because it is kind of made for the PS5 to get it there because of the controller. You
Hmm.
know, there's a lot of functionalities to the controller itself. Like the trigger gets a lot like harder and whatnot. That's what she said. And it just it gets you more into the gameplay and whatnot.
Yeah.
You feel more immersed in like you actually are holding the bow and arrow.
Neat.
You become Hawkeye.
Ha. There you go. So yeah, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break, one last break, and then we will be right back for our final segment of this episode where we detail our favorite games or possibly like a top 3 or top 5 or as people on another podcast that we like listening to, a Mount Rushmore, possibly. So yeah, do look forward to that. You are listening to the Nerd Archive podcast. Don't go away. We will be right back. And we are back for our final segment of the Nerd Archive podcast. If you are still with us, we are going into our favorite games or possibly a top 3 or a top 5 if we have that many. Those games that we remember most fondly regardless of the amount of time that has passed, and I've got quite a few of those myself. But as always, since I am leading this one, I will go last. So this time we are going to start it off with Lola.
Oh,
Well,
why'd you
because
do
I
that?
I put them on the spot first. So
So games.
Yes, that is the topic.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking. I've played a couple that I've liked, apart from the ones that I've already mentioned. I just can't recall any of them. Like I've played like 2-player games just because uh, me and my partner like to
Hmm.
challenge each other on who can get the smartest, the fastest. Fun fact, it's me always.
I think it's him.
You'd be surprised. He's a dum dum. And I have another comment, but I
Uh-oh.
can't say it on here.
I have way too many.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking the same thing. Anyways, point is, I've played a lot of them recently, more recent than in this past year or so, because I bought a console almost a year ago. My first console.
Which
So
one?
um I think the Lara, the
Gotcha. Okay.
Xbox, and it was the last one that they had at Best Buy, so I was able to snatch
Nice.
it before it went away.
She has the Series
Yeah.
S.
So I think the Lara Croft games, I really liked those games. I really did. And I like the Assassin's Creed games and I bought most of them. The problem with Assassin's Creed is their newer games are a bit disappointing. There's no more storyline. You're no longer following the whole looking for pieces of Eden. You are, but it doesn't matter. They just, and you can only, go to certain areas depending on your level, and then to level up, you spend days and days and days trying to level up. So it turned me away from the
It
franchise
became a grind
altogether.
fest, it sounds like.
Yeah. So for the original ones, you had your main storyline, and you do that. I don't recall them having side.
Hmm.
Well, they did have some side quests here and there, but that's it. But yeah, but this newer ones like Valhalla and I can't recall the name of the one that she's a Spartan, but yeah, you have to level up, and like they throw like level fives and six at you when you're a level one, and they kill you immediately. So, and then,
I
yeah,
think
and
you're
then
skipping
trying to
levels.
level up. I'm not. I really am not. And again, they do it by certain areas, and that is in the area they drop you off. So it's become really disappointing. And that Quantum Break one, I'm really into that. I wish I could kill this motherfucker. So I keep rage quitting on it, but this past couple days I've just given it a break. It's been helping. But I would like to finish that one as soon as possible.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So, I guess looking at it like this, uh, in spite of some of the more recent entries into the franchise, uh, you really kind of hang on to Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider, which are
Yeah.
honestly really good series. And I've seen some of
Yeah.
the more recent Tomb Raider games myself. Like I'm honestly really interested in them, and I might I might actually just go and play them at some point, um, because I mean
Yeah.
they clearly have come a long way from the way they were in the early points of the series. So that's definitely
So I've never played the originals.
hmm.
It's, you guys know this. It's on trend with my personality and the games that I've played. But this recent ones, I played
Yeah.
them back to back to back. Um so and they were fantastic.
Go with Lewis next.
All right. Favorite or top five? Let's go. And I think what I'm going to do is in each category or each top, I will just choose series. Um, the Need for Speed series is one of my favorite. The later ones, other than this last, the Need for Speed Heat was. It's close to one of my favorite in the series, but they Need for Speed Carbon and Need for Speed Most Wanted are my top played games, and they were sequel to each other. So it was Carbon is the sequel to Most Wanted, and it literally picks up from the last scene,
I was about to ask you when you said most one, and I was about to ask you which one.
the
Yeah, I
original
was
one.
gonna say because if you answered the wrong one, I'm like, no, I'm gonna drive over there and I'm
No,
gonna
no, no,
kill
no,
you. Because yeah, no,
no.
the original Most
You
Wanted.
Need for Speed over here.
Yeah, no. No, yeah, the original Most Wanted and Carbon were incredible games. The newer one that they called Most Wanted, not so much.
No, they tried to remake it, and they were on a trend. They were trying to remake a different, like all these Need for Speed games. They did Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. They
Yeah.
did Most Wanted, and truthfully, I think they stopped that because they fell short.
Well, yeah,
They fell
no,
short.
it was to me it just seemed like laziness on the part of EA and their development studios. Because I mean, obviously, I would say, yeah, the development studios wanted to create something new. They wanted to create, something that new and different, and EA was just like, no, let's do this because it's gonna be cool. it's going to have that name and it's going to draw and it's going to sell. And no, it did not.
No.
And that reminds me of another out of touch multi-millionaire that has no clue what the hell he's doing, and yet he thinks all his ideas are the best in the world. And no, I'm not talking about my boss. For those who
Uh,
are I'll just say, for those who are wrestling fans, it's Vince McMahon. He is one of the most out of touch in the wrestling world when it comes to storyline ideas, and a lot of his ideas just fall absolutely to shit. So just to
yeah.
getting that out of the way. So yeah, as you were saying.
I think I agree with you with Vince McMahon. He's ridiculous and stupid. But going back to the video game, the 2K series to me, there was a point where there was a couple of years that was the only thing I played,
Mm.
and I played it for hours, and I stopped playing it after 2K20 because it just felt very repetitive, and they were fucking up the game engine pretty
No,
much. They tried to implement new things that weren't working, and they just fucked up the game, and it was crashing all the time, and it just fell short. And but the 2K, obviously my favorite one, it would be 2K12, and that one was amazing. The Assassin's Creed series, obviously, that one was good. And I'm gonna hit a throwback. The Ninja Turtles video game in Super
Oh
Nintendo.
yes, yes, love that game.
That game was fantastic. It was the first game that I actually played with my dad, and we played it a lot. We played it a lot, and he always gave me shit in other games that we played, especially baseball games, because I would beat his ass, and he always rage quit saying that I was cheating, and I'm like,
That sounds like him.
yeah, I'm like, how am I cheating? I'm not cheating, and then I realized that sometimes I just wanted to show off to my friends, and I will move all the sliders all the way up, and I will forget to turn them off. He doesn't know this. He's not listening to this, so he's not going to know.
Yet.
Or always created a player that had everything on 99. So it was pretty much to beat my friends, and I always forgot to change it back when I was playing with him.
Oops.
So sorry, Dad. But that and two. These are my top favorite games. Number two is the Wolverine game that came out in Xbox 360 or Xbox. It was the original Xbox, and it was based on the first Wolverine, the Origin movie,
Okay.
and it pretty much followed the movie. The cutscenes were still video game scenes, but they used a script from the movie, and it was voiced by Hugh Jackman. So
Cool.
that one was pretty cool. But my top favorite game of all time that I've spent countless time playing was Star Wars Episode 3. That one, I don't know why I spent so much time playing it, but it was the first video game that I was actually that you can go from you pick a character, and when you finish the story, you can go back and you can play as Obi-Wan and finish the story, and it was just like Episode 3, but then you pick Anakin and you played it from his point of view, and some of the missions were different, but then it would finish different. It would when the famous line, "Stop it, Anakin! I have the high ground," and he says, "Don't underestimate my power." He literally jumps, and Obi-Wan misses, and he kills Obi-Wan.
I saw a video of that recently. That was
Interesting.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and so he turns into
Yeah.
Darth Vader, but not with the suit. And then after that, you unlock his yellow eyes and red lightsaber, and you play as Anakin. After that, you can pick which lightsaber color you want after you finish it.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, no, I honestly, I'd always imagine like what that would have been like. And you see like a number of like what if style videos on YouTube of, what if that battle had turned out this way where, what if he didn't burn, what if he killed
I hate
Obi-Wan?
you.
And I've seen a few of them, and it's interesting to see how it would have turned out if certain events had played out a certain way. Um, and to be honest, I think they could. And yeah, obviously we're getting off topic here, a little bit. But oh yeah, I see that. Focus. um, eh, there we go. um, and I'd love to see like I'd love to see Lucasfilm and them like really do a take on some of those like what if like theory style uh stories and see where they could go with it, you know in like
Right.
an alternate universe or something like that.
I got a honorable
Hmm,
mention. The Matrix video game.
hmm, interesting.
That one, it's also another game that you had two different characters and you play throughout the game with each character, and all the missions are different.
Jada.
But then, yeah, you play with Jada,
Oh,
and
right, Enter the Matrix.
yeah,
Ghost. Is it
yep,
Ghost? What's his name? I
yeah,
think.
I'd forgotten about that game.
yeah. You there's there's some missions that you they they interconnect. You are playing as the other character, and you go through the same, but you take different paths. And you, on one end, you hear what she's doing, which is what you already did the first time, and you guys are communicating the whole time.
Huh,
So it's out. That one's pretty cool. And then you can finish the game different. You can pick um your outcome at the end too. So
very cool.
Yeah,
I
that was a great game.
oh, yeah.
I had an issue with my PlayStation that never let me pass certain area, and I had to
oof.
open my PlayStation to clean my lens, and then I could do it. But it took me a few months.
The first time I ever played that game, and I'm going back, I rented it at Blockbuster.
Ooh, classic, super
And
throwback.
I rented it for a weekend and returned it in the next weekend, because every weekend, every Friday night, we would go to Blockbuster. My parents would go to their side of the movies. I would go straight to the video games, and Lola would go to the kids section. And
George of the Jungle.
yep, you rented that movie way too much.
It's a good movie. Brendan Fraser, half naked.
Yeah, but that's weird that you were looking at that age.
Mind your business.
So whatever. So every weekend we would go. So it was maybe 3 weekends. I finished it on the first. I want to say I finished it Friday night, and I replayed it, and then the next weekend I would rent it again. And my mom didn't look at what I was renting, so she didn't know I was renting the same game over and over again. She just made sure I wasn't renting porn. So sometimes I don't know.
Well,
That's
at least
how I
there's that.
started playing GTA. Renting it. My mom rented it. She didn't know what she was renting for me.
It's weird because Blockbuster used to ask, "Are you sure you want to rent this for your kid?"
What for the Matrix?
No, for the like GTA.
Oh yeah,
and,
well I mean
like,
GTA.
video games are Reddit and for mature.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, GTA makes sense. I'm like, yeah, no, if they're gonna say that for Enter the Matrix, seriously, what the hell are they doing? Um,
The one thing that I remember about Into the Matrix was the scene where they're in the lobby and you're
Shooting.
shooting all these,
Yes, all the
and the
bullets.
walls would break,
You feel like you were in the movie.
and you can climb the
Yeah,
wall, and
slow
it
motion.
was like, yeah, I wish they would remake that with the new engine, with like the same mechanics. That would be awesome.
Did
Th-
you download the Matrix engine thing when the movie came
No,
out?
I mean, I downloaded it, but I didn't do anything with it.
It's pretty cool.
I have
No,
to.
Yeah.
I'd definitely like to
Um,
see them remake a game like that, especially with Unreal Engine 5 having been
Yes.
released not that long ago. And honestly, I'd finally be able to play it because I'd never got the chance to play that game. So that would be interesting.
It was a great game.
I wish they would just put it on the backwards compatible on the Xbox Live store.
I could look it up on Steam, but it's probably not there.
Yeah, they recently put Episode 3 on there, the that video
Uh,
game.
uh,
So it's $10. I might just buy it.
cool. All right, so we are going to pass it over to Yad now for the favorite games slash possible top 5. So take it away.
I got so many games that I love, but I feel like going back an old one, not super old, but
Hmm.
um Fight Night is it round 2 or 3? That was a
Those are good.
Yeah.
great boxing game.
Yeah.
The way that you could control
Final
the
Champion was good too.
I was more into the Fight Night, yeah. But it was such a good game.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Final Champion is 4. That one's good.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
I only ever played round 3. It was a great game.
That's the one with De La Hoya in the front, right? De La
I
Hoya?
think so.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the one.
Because
Yeah.
it was the one that introduced the what the fuck did they call it? Total punch control, where all of your
Yes.
punches were controlled through just the thumbsticks.
Yes.
Yeah, I used that a lot. The
You
haymakers.
felt like you were actually, your thumbs were the
Yeah.
ones punching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going with that going with that same controlling thing, like with the analog sticks. Skate. This was Skate 3 or when the first Skate game
Hmm.
came out.
Yeah.
Going after
Ooh.
Tony Hawk, classic,
I
right?
was gonna say that.
Yeah.
But Skate brought up that controlling aspect of your skateboard and how you do an ollie, and it's the same thing of the analog stick controlling those characters and then how you do flips and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I thought that was amazing, and I still play it every now and then when I turn on my PS3. Um,
The 2K games are like that. It's pretty cool. With the dribbling.
oh yeah,
Nice.
I haven't. I think the last 2K game I have it's 2019. Before that, it was like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
With
that's
Michael
I
Jordan in the
skipped
front.
quite a few. Yeah. No, actually, it was the one with Carmelo Anthony. So I don't know what year that. 2014, 2011. I don't know.
2011 was Kobe Bryant.
Damn.
It was the 10-year anniversary.
See, I don't follow them that much.
I never followed them
I
at
did.
all.
I skipped every single one of them that had LeBron James in the front. Okay.
Oh,
Carry on.
yeah. So let's see. After that, I gotta say GTA. Overall, all of them. Yeah, it's just I if I were to pick one of them, it would be the 5 because it's a more recent one and it has everything that you want to have except a jetpack. I wish it would add a jetpack from San Andreas to that because that was just cool. Let's see. So I got Fight Night, Skate, GTA 5, Spider-Man. Like the latest Spider-Man game. It's one of the best games. Not because it has a Puerto Rican, black Puerto Rican, character for the Spider-Mans, but
Right.
yeah, it's the graphics, the gameplay, how everything on it is the story is great as well. The over is a well done game for sure. Even though it's
It's a
short,
finish.
huh?
It's a finished game.
Yeah.
because lately they just release games that are half-assed.
Yeah.
That happens
Yeah, this
way too often.
unfortunately. And lastly, Call of Duty. I gotta say I play it a lot, and not just because it's what we have in common, but I really enjoy playing, and I also hate it and I love it, and then I hate it.
And hated it.
Yeah. But it's also it's
Who
just a great
remembers
game.
Medal of Honor?
You know, I never play I think I played it probably once, you know, like I never actually
Same.
got into it.
The first Medal of Honor I played was Medal of Honor 2,
You know, the first game I got into first shooting, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yes.
Yep.
GoldenEye.
Yep.
The Golden Gun, one shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
The
that
Desert Eagle is great too. And the AK.
Mm-hmm.
Always good to go with the
Yeah, all of them.
that game all around was just amazing.
Yes.
I agree.
I re-
The story, the storyline was awesome too.
Oh yeah. That
yeah, I
was
mean, when with the
If
movies, you know, like it's it.
it followed very
oh
closely
yeah,
the GoldenEye movie.
no
And then
doubt.
for me is one of the first movies that I can see something from, like a big movie that I can see something from Puerto Rico, especially having it in
Mm-hmm.
a game as well. So that got me all into it as well. Like it,
Hyped up.
yeah. There's the I don't know if you know that the oh my, what's the name of that in English? It's a telescope, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a giant telescope that we had in Puerto Rico,
Yeah,
and it was in the
that
game,
was the biggest
in the movie.
telescope in the world.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
A lot of those shots that we see that are from NASA are from that telescope.
Neat.
Where
Mm-hmm.
Where,
yeah.
well, the pictures are still
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
destroyed now.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like those are my top. There's a lot more games, you know. We can go Donkey Kong Country, of course, you know, it's one of the great games. Mario
Yes.
Oh
Kart.
yeah,
Um Even the latest Mario Kart, it's just fun. And now that I can play with my kids, it's like, you know, the best.
there's so many video games that bring back every time that every time that you guys mention it, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yes.
I don't know why they
No,
mentioned
Mario Kart kicks
it. Like
so
the
much
Pokemon
ass.
series.
Yes. One day we're gonna play. We're
Oh,
gonna
no
play
doubt.
while we actually do a podcast. Why not?
Why not? Idea.
Ooh,
No, no, yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna get. We'll definitely have. We'll get that group together and we'll play that game. Favorite games. Well,
No, you're done. Bye.
this has been the Nerd Archive podcast, folks. We are done, and we are done forever. No. Yeah, no, this is for me, a lot of it's gonna go way back to like my early days of video gaming. Like I was saying during the first segment, like the one that really got me in, and honestly the one that I still go back and play to this day that really holds a special place would be Super Mario Brothers 3. It was one of the first it was the first one that I can remember with like an overworld style like a map, basic as it was. And it was a big departure from, it was more akin to the first one, though it looked a lot better, and the levels were the levels were a lot better, a lot more challenging. And it was a big departure from the second one, which, as good as that was and as much fun as I had playing that, I didn't really enjoy it as much as clearly as the third one, because you know, I don't know, as a kid it's like the second one didn't really feel like a Mario game to me, but it didn't really take away from my enjoyment of the game. But then finding out later on that it was really just a completely different game with Mario characters slapped on top of it, um you know, yeah, that's another story in itself. Yeah, Mario Brothers in general is like a really good series, specifically Mario Brothers 3. And then Super Mario World comes in for me at like a close second behind that. um those games are really amazing. And then the next one, I mean, the obvious choice for me, and I know some people that'll listen to this will probably groan. It's like, all the nostalgia goggles, blah blah blah. um Legend of Zelda, specifically Ocarina of Time for the N64. uh, Honestly, and I would agree with this, the general consensus is that this is pound for pound the best game that has been created in a very long time. Now, there are games that have come along and done like that have done it better, but that is one of the, and honestly, I think that goes for me above even Mario Brothers 3. I think I would consider Ocarina of Time like my absolute top game that I've ever played. And that's not taking away from any of the other Zelda games because they're all really good. And there are some that I haven't even played yet. Like a lot of the ones on DS, I haven't played yet. And there were a few on, I've played most of the Game Boy ones, the Oracle's games and Link's Awakening. I played the original one. Yeah. The original Game Boy Link's Awakening, and then you guys probably got to see the replays on YouTube that I did for the re-release for the Switch. That game was really fun. To be honest, out of all of them, and even as good as Breath of the Wild was, I still look back at Ocarina of Time as the best in the series. And because honestly, without that, you wouldn't have gotten a game like Majora's Mask. And that one was another really good one. A really good concept, really good story, despite the fact that, yeah, it did reuse a lot of assets from Ocarina of Time, but it didn't matter. It was a really good story. So I could put that one up there as well. And then, let's see, another series that I really got into kind of later on, like when I could actually appreciate this, and this goes back to this kind of a callback to the first segment being Metroid. Specifically for me, Super Metroid being honestly the best in as far as like the 2D Metroids go. Honestly, to this day, and I can probably still say that after I play Metroid Dread, and I'm gonna play it at some point because I do have it. But to this day, Super Metroid is still like stands at the top as far as 2D Metroid. And then obviously we get into the 3D Metroids with Metroid Prime. Those games were absolutely amazing. Huge departure from the series when it split off after Super, because then the 2Ds continued with Metroid Fusion. That game, yeah, that one, I think Metroid Dread was kind of because if you played Metroid Fusion, that seemed more like uh, a horror game, combined with being the Metroidvania as you would expect, like the exploration and collection and stuff like that you would expect in Metroid.
Right.
And it, like, that game really kept you on the edge of your seat, and it was a big challenge to play that game, and I really enjoyed that. But like I said, Super Metroid's still the best. Let's see. I don't really think I can call out to any other games that like I can say that are in like a top 3 or a top 5. Maybe, if I had like a bit more time, I could probably, populate a better list for it. But like those like particular games um, are pretty much what stood out to me. And, it makes sense. I'm being like the veteran gamer that grew up on a lot of these really good experiences, I think, and some of the best. And there are, I would say a lot of people that would listen to this, and a lot of people that are out in the gaming world would definitely agree, especially a lot of the older crowd.
I agree.
And then, oh yeah, and then like Yad was saying, COD is one of those games that you have basically a love-hate relationship with. To be honest, I don't even think I would have gotten back in. I don't think I would have gotten back into it if it wasn't for Lewis. So, uh, yeah, I pretty much have you to thank for reintroducing me to something that aggravates the hell out of me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to some of the upcoming content. But as it stands now, I don't really know about it at this point.
You know what was a really, really good game? Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3.
I was
Hmm.
gonna mention Dragon Ball Z because I remember playing the Japanese version
Mm.
that we had.
on PlayStation.
Yeah, the first PlayStation. I remember going to my friend's house and he had the game that you had to put a blank game first, and then you open it up while it's on, and then you put in this other CD so the PlayStation can read actually the Japanese game, and that was a great game. We played for
Yeah,
hours after school, hours.
Huh.
I think that was the first Dragon Ball Z game. Actually, I think that game was what got me into Dragon Ball Z
Mm.
because I used to watch, or I put on an episode one time on Toonami, and it was in the Raditz saga, and it just I'm like, I don't know, I don't like this, which is funny because I know I'm obsessed with Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I never really. I mean, you talked about Dragon Ball Z. What was it? Did you say Budokai 3? I got you. I
Mm.
because I thought you were referring to Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which yeah came out way later. Because I played, yeah, I did play Budokai 3 for a time, and then I skipped Budokai Tenkaichi and played Tenkaichi 2. Uh, Loved that game. I think I played that one for yeah, I played that one for the Wii. That one was fun. It was funny, despite having the
Those
motion
were fun.
controls, I still played with the classic controller that you hooked up to the Wiimote.
Can't go wrong with
I
that.
think a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. There was a fair number of games that I played for the Wii just using the classic controller because it really didn't make sense to use motion controls on some of them, and then there were ones
Right.
that were designed specifically around the motion controls, and they were like a lot of fun. I can't name really any of them off the top of my head at this point, but uh you know it'll come up.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part, I think what made Budokai 3 the best game was the fact that you can, if it was I think it was the first one to introduce the teams,
Yeah.
and but I think you can only do duos, and it was it was awesome because if you had Goku and you had him equipped with the Butara earring, you can fuse with Hercule or Mr. Satan, or um, Krillin and Tien, or Yamcha and Tien.
Oh, I do remember this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the fusion between Yamcha and Tien was Yamcha's
Tien
body,
Chao?
and he and yeah, and then his hair started here. His forehead was this big because he had the third eye
It was like
that
he was going bald.
Tien had. Yeah, it was funny. It
Sorry.
was funny. That was a good
Mm.
game. Actually, now I'm going to download it.
Yeah, the latest one I bought was
I have
Cineverse.
Cineverse is good. I just don't like the
I
whole.
never finished it.
It's I don't know. It's too. It's not complicated. It's just I don't know. It's a different fighting engine.
Yeah.
But they went back with the new one with the
Mm.
fighters. That one's good.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the more recent ones never really caught my interest enough to want to play. I think after Tenkaichi 3, which didn't really impress me all that much, I just kind of stepped away from the Dragon Ball Z games and like just moved on and found something else.
Yeah, the what I liked about Xenoverse, it was the whole
Hmm.
multiverse. The storyline was pretty cool, which opened up the doors for Dragon Ball Heroes.
Oh yeah.
That one looks fan made because of the characters that they
Yeah.
have. It's like you can they have episodes on YouTube, the promotional
Yep.
episodes, and you have Goku Super Saiyan 4 um, sparring with Goku Blue, Super Saiyan Blue. It's like we always try and figure out which one was the best, and then they give you that. It's like, okay, I see you. I see you.
Well, I mean, obviously it would have to be Super Saiyan Blue because Super Saiyan 4 is not canon. I don't even recognize GT or yeah, I don't recognize GT. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
I'm a huge fan, so I enjoy it. I recognize that it was a part of the story, but here comes Super and just completely annihilated that. It's like whatever.
Oh
It
yeah.
was just a
The
dream.
Goku Ultra Instinct.
A fever dream.
It was in this universe.
Still not canon.
Yeah.
Toriyama had.
And it only got better when Toriyama stepped in.
I don't remember him ever stepping in. I don't think Toriyama had anything to do with GT at all.
That's why Super Saiyan 4 is a thing. Because he was very angry at the fact that they made Goku a kid again. He's like, we moved on from this. There's no reason for this to come back.
Well, I mean, I watched it, so I can say that I actually watched it, but I didn't really enjoy it. So yeah, Super. I mean, Super was a huge step up from that, and it was one that, I mean, you knew that this was Toriyama from the start. Like, he was completely involved in it, like he had been through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And
it felt like a continuation, not like a spin-off.
oh yeah.
So that's what GT feels like, a spin-off.
Yeah. If you I was gonna say, thinking about it like that, in that sense, it doesn't, like, it makes it less shit, in my opinion. So yeah, you think of it.
That's a win.
Yeah, think of it as its own entity, separate from the main story, and it's not nearly as bad. So yeah, I think I can go with that.
It's a multiverse.
Of madness.
There you go. Callbacks. Nice little callback to episode 2 of our podcast for those who are listening. Because you did mention that in the Harry Potter episode.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So that's obviously going to be an extra little tidbit, not on the main episode, that we will release for when we do extra content and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll go over that. So any.
I need to open an OnlyFans.
Oh no. No.
It's the only thing we haven't digged into. So.
Oh, it was only a matter of time before you went there. All right.
Why are you like this?
I was born like this.
I know.
Oh, I got a trivia.
Ooh. One of our favorite parts of this series.
I got 2.
You want to introduce, before you start, you want to introduce the trivia?
Oh man, yes. All right, so we're going to get into a special little bonus segment that we will do every so often, I guess, if the mood strikes. We're going to do a little trivia here at the end, where Yad or Lewis or myself or Lola throws in some trivia questions or some fun facts and stuff like that, and test our knowledge. So take it away, sir.
It's trivia time.
It's trivia time. You might know this one pretty quickly, but what was the original name for Mario? Like,
Ooh.
before he was Mario, his game was named something else.
I know that one. I think. Well, no, the character himself. Yeah, before he became Mario, I believe he was known as Jumpman.
Yes. Yeah.
Jumpman.
I was thinking of that, but I didn't want to sing. All right, let's move on to another one. Maybe you know this one, but how many occupations does Mario hold?
Ooh, that one's actually a tough one.
Yeah, I didn't know this till today.
Well, he's a plumber.
All right.
I was gonna ask, occupations like jobs?
Yeah, you know how he has disguises and whatnot, and little, it's not transformations, but they typically have a theme with each within the games, and yeah. So he was something.
So,
yeah,
I don't know the list of it though. I just know how many. But you can name them, yeah, if you want to.
Well, yeah.
Well, how many?
How many? Yeah, just how many? You don't have to name them.
7.
Eh.
Let's see. I'll take a stab at 6.
Nope.
Damn.
23.
No.
What is he, Michael Jordan?
Listen, what are you, our dad? 7? Really?
I don't know what that means.
Everything. Us growing up, whenever there was somebody like, I'm thinking of a number. If you say it, you win it. 7. It was always 7. Always 7.
No wonder I always lost.
Yes.
I didn't pick up on that.
It was always 7.
I don't know. I'm gonna go down 1 and say 5.
No.
Damn it.
Higher or
Higher.
lower?
Ooh.
56.
No, lower. Higher than 5. Lower than 23.
Oh, shit.
Come on.
12.
Yes.
What?
That's a magic number.
Oh,
On
look
his
at
second
you.
guess, where we took
Yes.
what, 3 apiece?
Actually, I have a list here.
Yeah.
I can name him. You want me to name him?
Go ahead.
Sure. He is a plumber.
Yep.
A carpenter.
Yep.
Doctor.
Yep.
Racer.
Yep.
Martial artist.
Ooh.
Baseball player.
Yep.
Soccer player.
Yep.
Basketball player.
Yep.
A pro golfer.
Yep.
Tennis player.
Uh-huh.
Construction worker.
Yeah.
And an Olympic athlete.
There you go.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's all over the place.
Crazy.
And he focused on rescuing Peach? I would have just.
I'm rich. Leave that bitch alone.
Maybe that's where all his coins came from.
I got one last one, and it should be easy. I know for Justin will be.
Maybe.
What was the first appearance that Mario was in? He made his debut in.
Donkey
Yeah.
Kong.
No, that was Donkey
Yeah.
Kong.
Yes, I wanted to make it easier.
I have a theory.
Theory.
Yeah, about Mario. It's theory time. So the theory is that in the booklet of the first game, it says that every time that a character, or not one of the characters from the game dies, the soul leaves their body. So every time that you kill a character, it turns into a coin. So Mario is out collecting souls.
Ghost Rider.
Luigi's Mansion.
It's a bank where he put all his coins.
Mm,
Ooh,
well,
that's
no, the
dark.
original. No, the original game didn't really do the whole coins thing. It was points, and I think Mario 3. I want to say Mario 3 didn't. It could have. I would think as many times as I played this game, I would know. I know Super Mario World did it, but only if you had the fire flower. So when you basically
So he burned his
you
victims.
burned your victims alive, they turned into coins.
Ghost Rider.
There you go.
Full circle.
I'm telling you, for circle.
Yep.
You have one more
It's a
question?
conspiracy, I tell ya.
That's a good one. Send me that.
Did you know Mario was a villain in a game?
Donkey Kong Jr.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a villain in there.
Yep.
He looked weird.
Why do I know
I
this?
didn't know, I didn't know there was a Donkey Kong Jr. game.
Yeah. Shockingly, it would have taken me a lot longer to get that one.
I watch a lot of videos. A lot of theories,
Yeah.
too.
What is Mario's last name?
Mario.
Trick question.
Mario doesn't have a last name, and that was actually confirmed by Miyamoto himself.
Yeah. No, that was the trick. Just throwing you off. See
Mario,
if you.
Oh
Luigi
yeah.
Mario.
Well, there are actually some people out there who will say, because they're so used to knowing him as Mario and Luigi Mario, it's like, I don't care what Miyamoto said. It's like, literally, you're going against the guy that created these characters. Like, I don't give a shit what he said. He's Mario and that's Luigi Mario. So yeah, no, no.
Do you know?
It's a
Go ahead.
go
No,
for it.
I was gonna change the subject.
It's a callback to the second episode when we're talking about Harry Potter and how when we said that in movies they cut a lot of things and a lot of the fans are like, "Why you got that? That didn't have to happen." And it's like, well, if you have so much to say about this, why don't you create a podcast and talk about
Yeah, no, yeah, that's clearly a whole nother conversation in itself, which, we did kind of delve into, to a point, because like you're saying, you have how much time to create a 2 to 3 hour movie. Like, there's only so much you can do. And if you really
it? Right,
wanted, and I think I started to touch on this, like, if you really wanted to get every bit of information from from those books into, onto live action, then I would probably say they would have to go the route of what HBO did with Game of Thrones, in turning each
right,
book into a season of however many episodes it took to get through, that particular book. So
right.
I wouldn't hate a series of Harry Potter. That would be fun if they make it right.
yeah.
With the original story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a one last trivia or question. How many games have Mario been on?
23.
That's my number, bro.
Oh, it's 7.
Let's say
Higher?
Higher than 23? Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
I know.
56.
let's go with let's take a stab at 32.
Way higher.
145.
Wow.
Higher.
Wait, did you just say higher?
Yeah.
Higher?
Jeez.
It's crazy. I didn't know this. Yeah,
Fuck. 200.
a little higher.
What the
205.
Higher.
Yeah, I was gonna say you went
235.
All right, I'll say it. Oh, you want to keep guessing because we
One more guess per
one more
person.
guess. All right, here we go.
Rapid
all
fire.
right. 220.
285.
No, less.
Less?
Two,
Okay.
okay. 240.
Incorrect.
Damn.
He's been in over. Well, he's been in over 255 and more on the way.
Damn. 255 appearances.
He's busy.
Do you have a list?
I checked.
Do
it
we
twice.
really have time for that?
I haven't missed. Well, you gotta count like all the Mario Party games, and that's
Oh, of
a
course.
lot of games. Yeah, no, I don't have a list. Next time.
I'm going to look that
Yeah.
up off air.
No.
I just farted. All right, and that was trivia time.
All right, folks, we are going to go ahead and call it good for this episode. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did bringing it to you. If you did, be sure to give us a rating or review depending on which podcast platform you listen to, and be sure to follow us on all these social media platforms which we operate, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord community, one of the best Discord communities in the world. You will enjoy it thoroughly, I can guarantee it. So yeah, we'll be waiting for you over there. And that being said, we are going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. For Lola, Yad, and Lewis, this is Justin. You've been watching the Nerd Archive podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.